welcome everybody to today's webinar. Thank you for taking the time to join us on the webinar. You will see my screen, which I can't see at the moment, so let me just actually get to the right screen. We are going to stick to our bite-sized format, and today's webinar is to look at update 3 alpha, which has just come out for version 20, along with some more information as well. I'm really thrilled to have Akila on the line with us today. Akila is our new UC sales engineer.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you for having me join you today for this webinar. Hi, everyone. It's my 3rd week. I've been here. I have been employed as an UC sales engineer. Thank you for each and everyone for joining today's webinar. I hope this webinar may give you more information about 3CX version 20. I would now like to hand over back to Megan.
Awesome. Thanks, Akila. So you're all going to become more familiar with Akila over the next few weeks. As she said, she's just finished her 3rd week, so lots of training going on. Now, just remember, we will wrap this webinar up with a Q&A, so please feel free to ask questions as we go along, but I will not answer those until we get to the end of the webinar. But we'll try and stick, as I said, to the bite-sized format. So what's on the agenda today? We've welcomed Akila, which is fantastic. It's great to have somebody back in our UC sales engineer role, and she's cracking through her training. The key focus for us today is to look at what's coming in update 3, which is currently in alpha. There's been some updates on the version 20 Softphone app. Talking about those key dates, some of them have passed, and some are coming up for migrating from version 18 to version 20. And then, as I said, at the end, we'll wrap up with our Q&A as normal. Update 3 alpha is all about making the admins' lives easier. So I know many of you on this webinar today will be really excited by that. I'm just touching on the top level highlights. Feel free to obviously look at the change log of everything that is coming in update 3, and once we obviously see a beta, we'll see a little bit more refinement there as well. Just a reminder that an alpha is not for production. It is great for testing, but don't go popping it onto production just yet. So one of the key things that has been something that's been looked at and asked for quite some time is around the storage and archiving. We really want efficient backup and storage because it means that the PBX is going to run optimally. It's really, really important, and update 3 has just looked at this and gone, what do we need to do to keep that critical data, your recordings, your chat, your voicemails, all those kind of things, and it's best to keep those off the instance and separate. So they've made it really easy to back those up into Google, SharePoint, you've got FTP, FTPS or SFTP, and the key thing is that it all means it's faster and more efficient. It doesn't clog up your PBX, and it will just make your life easier. And also a lot of companies have a preference for where they want to archive and store their data to. The other thing that is here in update 3 alpha is the Microsoft Teams syncing going both ways. So we got the one-way, now we've got the two-way, and that's all just with the standard Microsoft 365 integration. You don't need anything special. You don't need the Teams direct routing or anything like that in there. It is just, having your Microsoft 365 configured correctly. So really useful because, most organizations do use their Teams licenses as well. I mean, I choose to use 3CX Meeting a lot, but people within my own organization use the Teams meeting as well. So being able to sync your status so you're not getting phone calls when you're already in a meeting is really important. Another core focus around version 20 has been around the CRM integrations, and we will see continued development in this area. They actually added a couple of new CRMs. I think they fully support 12 different CRMs now. So in update 3 alpha, we're seeing the ability to add call transcriptions to the record. So the recording link is copied onto the customer record, and the call transcription with its summary can also be added to the customer record, which is a fantastic feature that they've talked about was coming, and that is now in the alpha. Why is it important? CRM is very important to my life. I need to be able to remember who I spoke to about what. So I make a lot of notes. It just makes it easier for each person or agent or whoever it is to be able to skim through those previous interactions and be able to have an intelligent conversation and pick it up. So it makes your organization far more efficient. Now, this is the big one. This is, and I've only touched on some of the features here, the admin features. It's all about making the admin life easier. Yay, multi-edit is back. Being able to copy config from one extension to another, including things like BLFs and all those types of things. It's just really, really important. And one of the other key things that we've seen is more granular user rights. So independent of the role, so we know how the roles are very set, you're now actually able to assign users the right to barge in, listen, or whisper, which is great for training and all those types of things. New functions with the reports, being able to share the reports to multiple email addresses, because often lots of people need the same report. You can enable and disable 3CX talk at the extension level. There's some phone firmware options, so you can now choose the 3CX supported firmware, which is highly recommended. Or in some scenarios, when the vendor says, here's a beta firmware, you can actually now use that. There are a lot more admin features. I would urge you to have a good read of the changelog. There's a lot of little niggly things that are getting fixed and added back in as we see version 20 really cemented into the mature edition of 3CX that it is. Another key thing that has taken a number of our partners by surprise, but we're really, really happy to see this, is the removal of some restrictions around hosted by 3CX. So just a reminder, hosted by 3CX was introduced to the ANZ market back in 2022, started on Volta and has since moved to DigitalOcean. This is a very stable platform. It's working really well. It has reduced the level of support that 3CX queries they get. So update 3 starts to remove some restrictions, including things like allowing templates, and custom templates. You can have the local MCU for your video conferencing if you want to. They've also signaled that in update 4, and remembering we're only in update 3 alpha, the CallFlow Designer will also be available to be used with the hosted service. So it just shows that the stability of that platform is really solid, and 3CX are going to start loosening the reins a little bit there as well. So it does become a really good alternative option for you. There are still reasons why you would go with an on-prem deployment or a private cloud, etc. Look at each scenario, but if you want to have a chat a little bit more around that, we haven't got any specific timeline, but those things are coming, so just think about those as well. So CallFlow Designer has always been a very, very powerful tool of 3CX, but you've got to have the programming know-how to use it, which not all partners do. So what 3CX have done is with version 20, they've released a number of call routing scripts. So there's 3 that are out there at the moment, which is the DTMF, the holiday, and the time-based routing. However, you do still need some scripting skills. So if you don't have those, that becomes a little bit problematic. What we're doing in the background, and I don't have details to release just yet, is that we're actually working with a number of our partners to identify partners that would be willing to assist other partners with using these scripts or teaching them the skill set required to use the scripts. So keep watching the space, keep reaching out to me, and I'll try and be connecting people up that can take full advantage of these. 3CX have also signaled that they will release more APIs, so more scripts and that type of stuff, which reduces the requirement for the CallFlow Designer, but the CallFlow Designer still has a very powerful play within 3CX and won't be going anywhere. So just keep an eye out for the things that are coming through. So as we all know, with version 20, came the release of the new Windows Softphone. Now, this new Windows Softphone is slowly but surely, and almost there actually, gaining parity with the legacy softphone that most customers are still using and don't want to let go of. So things that have come in earlier in the month are the native chat within the softphone. You don't get bounced out to the web client anymore. Call recordings, allowing users to view those transcriptions and listen and download from within the app. And there's more to come. So they are going for full parity. You'll recall 1 or 2 updates before. The drag and drop came back, which is the most loved feature of the Windows Softphone for 3CX full stop, end of time. The other thing that is now in the latest release of that Windows Softphone is the Yealink headset support. So Jabra was already there, and Yealink is there for all their popular models. So when I say popular models, I'm talking about the wired models. So those are the ones that start with UH. So you've got the 34, the 36s, there's lots of those out there, although that's an obsolete model now. 37s, 38s, you've got the decked models, so the WH series, so the 62, 63, 66, 67, and even the new 64 that I'm wearing today, which is the decked Bluetooth hybrid unit, and then also the Bluetooth units from Yealink, so the BH71, which is a little on over-ear unit, the BH72, which is now end of life, was one of their first dual earpiece ones, the 76s, and the new 70, which is what Akila's wearing as well. So that support is all back there. You can see I've pulled a little image out, just showing how easy it is to pop that headset integration in there. Important dates. Now, some of these deadlines have already passed and some of them are coming up, but I think it's really important to recap because we've had quite a few queries just in the last few days after the 15th of August date has passed. So just to recap, there are no further Debian 10 updates. That is Debian themselves, so Linux themselves, that are not releasing any further. So there will be no more security updates or anything like that. And Debian 10 is what version 18 is built on. So that one is really important to remember and think about as we plan these migrations. So back in July, all the NFRs had to be on version 20, and the old free 4 simultaneous call standards got their final extensions as well, as long as they were on version 20. If they were still on version 18, they actually dropped to a 2 simultaneous call, and even if you upgrade them to version 20, they will stay at a 2 simultaneous call. So they are end of life, and we've talked until we're blue in the face about those needing to migrate to either a paid license, or you can go to the new style SMB licensing as well. The 15th of August, which has just passed, was when any version 18 deployments needed to be on update 9A, which is build 31, and version 20 needed to be on update 1, which is build 731 or higher. So update 2 has been released since July. This is to allow connection to the activation servers via the SSL certificates. If you are on version 18, update 9, the build prior to 31, you're faced with a backup and a restore for that. There is no way around that. You cannot connect to the activation servers. So if you need any advice or guidance, do reach out to us and we'll be happy to send you the information. The next one coming up is the 1st of September. So instances on hosted by 3CX should have been upgraded to version 20 by now anyway. However, from the 1st of September, 3CX will force that update. So they will actually push that update through. Now we are running our own 3CX in-house on hosted by 3CX because we believe we need to, see how it all performs and that kind of stuff. So we are on the latest update 2, which is fantastic. But we also have a test system that we run on a virtual machine in-house as well. So we kind of test everything out, but those are the important dates that are coming up. Just to put that in perspective, update 9A for version 18 and update 1 for version 20 both came out in May 2024. And believe it or not, Sunday is September Father's Day for anybody that's forgotten. There's your tip from Megan for the day. So just keeping up to date, as you know, we have our monthly newsletter, we have a weekly newsletter, we have the LinkedIn group. So if you're not receiving those newsletters, not belonging to that group, reach out, we will get you signed up. The technical training certifications have been reset. So if you held the advanced for version 18, it'll still say that you're advanced certified, but you will have the option to take the new version 20 tests. Now, Akila has been with us for just 3 weeks, but one of the key parts of her role is going to be delivering the technical training. We also believe there'll be another A and Z technical training run by Nicholas Perez in the next kind of month or two, but that's still to be confirmed. He has a very busy schedule, but we'll watch out for those and share that information with you as well. And that brings us to the end of today's webinar. So now we're going to have a look at any questions that people have along the way, and I will answer any other questions that I can. If I need to take them offline, I will. So let's just have a quick look and see where we're at. Just give me a second to scroll. Okay, the firmware, does that mean an unsupported firmware can communicate via an SBC, or is that dependent on the actual SBC router device used? So with that one, basically the SBC is basically encrypting your traffic. So the answer is that the firmware will allow you, say for example, Yealink or Grandstream or whoever gives you a beta firmware, it will allow you to use that with update 3. So that's what that one is about. Let me just look at this. Mark, still to be confirmed with the Softphone transfer features. There's a few changes, I believe, that are still coming around that. So bear with us on that. Congratulations, Jashan. I'm very pleased to hear that you've got your new version 20 certificates. So that is fantastic. Patrick, do you have a list of CRM integrations? Yes, let me get you a link in a second and I will share that. Dropbox is not listed on their storage and backup options at this point, and I don't know if that is on the roadmap. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait and see on that one. List of phones that support the 3CX firmware updates. I'll share a link for that in a second as well. To set your version 20 test, you will do that from within your partner portal or within your own account. That is there. Let me just grab some links for everybody, which are useful. Okay, so this link is the 3CX supported firmware versions. Checking my spelling as I send that. This one here is the supported IP phones and links to the setup guides. So this is the supported phones. And this is getting updated quite regularly. You'll see in the update 3 alpha that the SIP T44W, which is Yealink's Wi-Fi one, is there. Integrate, configure, record link, push to CRM. Miriam, not that I've seen as yet. It is being worked on because it's still in alpha. I believe we'll see that when we get to beta in terms of the documentation on the new CRM information. So for anyone that doesn't know, KYC is Know Your Caller, and that's what they use on the 3CX website for the CRM integrations. So we'll just sit back here and feel free to copy these links. And remember, you do have the do-it-yourself option for 3CX CRM guides as well. This is the CRM guides. And if you click on each link of each particular CRM, it will take you through the entire configuration guide as well. So there's 3CX maintained ones, and then they're maintained by the vendor themselves units as well. So in terms of Grafana that is coming, that is very, very exciting, Cameron. I have seen some images. If I just make myself a note, Cameron, I'll send you some images of what you can do. So the ability with Grafana is going to be to create your own custom visual reports, and they do it really quickly. Like the development team at 3CX can make these pretty reports in just a few moments. So what I'll do is I'll create a document that I'll send out with the recording link tomorrow, and I'll include those images in there as well. So I've got some from the roadmap presentation that I can share with you. So I will definitely send those through, because as you know, in version 20 at the moment, the reporting is all just out to a CSV file format. But with Grafana, we'll be able to take it to the next level. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that that will be update 4. As I say, it is on the roadmap. It is important to them to get that reporting sorted. So we'll wait and see when that comes out. In terms of a soft phone for the Mac, it is on the roadmap. It is being developed and it will be coming. So they are committed to doing that. So the Mac softphone, new softphone, will be coming. Obviously, on the Macs at the moment, you're restricted to using either a progressive web app or the web client. Most people use the web client, so that will be coming. In terms of Grafana, my assumption is that that will be an additional cost to use Grafana, but until I see all of that information, I can't answer that. They've also mentioned Power BI, because I know we have a lot of customers and a lot of 3CX customers globally that already extract data and use Power BI to manipulate that. So we'll see what that is. I have suggested that a discount for 3CX partners would be fantastic, but you know, everybody's an organization, everybody needs to make money and to be able to use those tools. So, you know, that's all on the roadmap, so that will be coming as well. Okay, let me just double check I haven't missed any questions. Okay, I think I've got all the questions. If anybody's got any other questions, you are more than welcome, as always, to send that through to us on uc@bluechipit.co.nz. If you miss the IT, you'll probably end up at Blue Chip Australia, and then they'll throw it back our way. And, you know, as I said at the beginning, we're really thrilled to have Akila on board with us. She is smashing through her training. Like, the number of certificates she's already passed is fantastic. And she is upskilling on 3CX. Anoop, our senior engineer, is spending time helping to do her training. And then we'll be obviously starting to see information coming out from her in the forms of blogs and videos and all those kind of things as well. So
exactly.
It's fantastic.
I'll be on board soon.
Absolutely. So for anybody that would like to know Akila's background, she comes from a background where she's very familiar with Cisco phones and IoT devices and networking. So she has a really strong background, and now it's just adapting and learning everything for 3CX as well. So exactly. It's going to be a great asset to our team. So all it requires for me to do now is to thank everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate your time, and we will get that recording out as soon as possible. Stun is dead, Cameron. Stun is dead. Stun has been going away from a 3CX perspective for a long time now, and you know that if you mention it to Nicholas, he will get his big stick out. So Oh, Akila hasn't seen the big stick yet, but Nicholas, who is the global trainer for 3CX, has a big stick, and it brings it out. So yeah, but thank you everybody. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate your interaction. We appreciate everything that you do with us, and we will see you on the next webinar. So take care, everybody, and we will hear and speak with you all soon.